Hi, and welcome to the Financial Modelling World Cup. You are watching a recap of the first stage of FMWC Season 2021.
With Danielle, Stein, Fairhurst.
And Andrew Grigolyunovich. So Andrew, tell us more about FMWC. What is it all about?
FMWC is actually all about just 3 words: learn, train, compete. It all started with an idea to create a series of real-life financial modeling cases to help people get better prepared for financial modeling exams. Then we just added the competition component for the most experienced modelers and the learning component for those people who have just started their financial modeling career.
Every month, the FMWC participants receive 3 financial modeling cases. These cases describe some real-life problems and require the participants to create a financial model to solve them. The cases need to be solved within 2 hours that are given for the stage.
Yes, you're right, Danielle. However, many people sign up for the Financial Modeling World Cup just in order to get the cases and the solution files and to train at a pace that's most comfortable for them. The 2 hours time frame is only deciding the prize money split, but not the amount of learning that the participants get from the FMWC. This year we have actually doubled the prize money, and the prize fund will now be $20,000. Let's see how it will be split.
The total prize fund for the Financial Modeling World Cup in season 2021 is $20,000. While every stage provides a small prize to the winners, the major part of the prize fund is awarded based on seasonal rankings. FMWC awards regional champions with $500 prizes. The same prize is awarded to the top participant in the under 25 age group. Finally, the largest prizes are awarded to the overall winners. Top 10 FMWC participants will receive the prize money with the seasonal winners award of $5,000. Additionally, stage prizes for the top newcomers will be awarded starting from stage 4. As seasonal rankings are based on the top 10 results out of 12 stages, this would serve as additional motivation for those who have missed the first part of the season.
At each stage, participants can score a maximum of 1,000 points, plus sometimes extra points are given for solving more difficult questions. Time bonus is awarded for an early finish.
Stage 1 brings no experiments with the format this time, as all the cases follow the typical FMWC format well known to our former participants.
The cases do not seem to be too difficult if you are not limited in time. However, they might turn out to be quite time-consuming if you choose a wrong or inefficient approach.
This time, the participants will start with a warm-up case named Speed It Up. It consists of 5 small questions that could be solved with financial modeling techniques. These are nice little tests to get FMWC participants in shape and to give some time bonuses for those who are the fastest here.
The second case, Stacker Unicorn, was prepared by Anub Agarwal from Think Matrix. This case gives 400 points and requires the participants to model a cap table for a tech startup.
And the third case, the Headcount Analysis, was prepared by our last year's runner-up, Dearmeet Early from Early Days Consulting. This case gives 450 points and requires the analysts to analyze a wide variety of personnel data for a company that manages outsourced call centers. And a bonus question in this case would bring yet another additional 150 points if solved correctly.
So a total of 1,150 points is therefore available in stage 1. Let's now see if any of the FMWC participants managed to get a perfect score. The first case that the participants had to tackle was called Speed It Up, Wendy. Andrew, you were the author of this case. Why Wendy?
You know, Danielle, I didn't just want to put together some totally unrelated questions, and I have chosen Wendy to be the character in all of the 5 questions that make up the whole case. The first question was dealing with valuing a company, a vending company that Wendy was about to sell. And then I just decided to let her appear in all the other questions in the case.
Wendy has decided to sell her business to a competing company on the following conditions. Enterprise value is at 8.5 times EBITDA for the last year. Last year's EBITDA was $1,234,567. Company's debt at the date of the transaction is expected to be $2,500,000. Cash at the transaction date is expected to be $108,032. Wendy's share in the company is 96%. Before we announce the right answer, you can make your own calculations and then check if your answer is correct. If you want to do it, then pause now.
So which option is the right one? The correct answer is F.
It's great to see that 86% of the participants have correctly answered this question. And here is how a possible solution model could look like. The formulas here are quite simple. Wendy will receive 96% of equity value, while equity value is derived from the enterprise value. You just have to subtract debt and add cash to arrive from enterprise value to equity value.
The next questions were not as straightforward. Only 59%, 45% and 38% of Stage 1 participants have correctly answered questions number 2, 3 and 4.
I have prepared an interesting question for number 5. After Wendy has completed the sale of her company and made the investments, she decided to spend most of her time studying the lives of her ancestors. Wendy learned that her great-great-great-grandfather was actually a keen horse rider.
Wendy's ancestor decided to travel the world by horse. He planned to start on September 16, 1799, ride 40 miles on the first day, ride 30 miles on the second day, ride 25 miles on the third day, rest on the fourth day. Repeat the cycle up until December 31st, 1800 when he's back home. How many miles in total did Wendy's ancestor travel by horse during this trip? Before we announce the right answer, you can make your own calculations and then check if your answer is correct. If you want to do it, then pause now.
That's an unusual question. You rarely use Excel to calculate travel distance nowadays. Is there anything else special about it?
Actually, yes. The key to answering this question is to understand how many 4-day cycles are there between the start and the finish dates. Excel is widely used to calculate the number of days between the two dates with the days formula. But the main challenge here is in that Excel recognizes dates only starting from the year 1900. And we have purposefully selected a year that would not be recognized by the software as a date format.
One of the common solutions is to move the calculations several centuries into the future. As you see in the sample solution, the calculations were made starting from the 16th of September 2099, not 1799. Andrew, why didn't you start with the year 1999?
Oh, that's one of the side topics that FMWC participants could learn during the stage. Everyone knows that every 4th year is a leap year, but our generation might not be aware that every 100th year is actually an exception. So years 1700, 1800, 1900 are not leap years. However, out of these exceptions, every 4th year is another exception. So actually year 2000 is a leap year, but it's an exception from another exception.
So the correct answer here is B.
Wow, only 55% of FMWC participants were correct here. I was actually expecting higher rates of correct answers among the first case. We'll probably make questions a bit easier next stage.
I hope so. Many participants not only lost time here, but also lost some valuable points. Let's see the leaderboard after case 1.
Less than 10% of participants have scored maximum points during the first case. While nothing has been decided yet for the overall stage outcome, the leaders after case 1 are Anup Agarwal from India and Dearmeet Early from the US, with 16 minutes 32 seconds and 17 minutes 50 seconds spent on this task. They are closely followed by Stevenson Yu from the Philippines, Joseph Michael Palasok from the US, and Abhishek Yasuya from India, all spending less than 25 minutes on the first case.
The second case, Stack Your Unicorn, was prepared by Anup Agarwal, India, from Think Matrix.
Meet Anup Agarwal from Think Matrix Solutions. Anup lives in Bangalore, India and is 32 years old. His strengths include 35 hours a week of Excel modeling, and he can put dreams into Excel formulas. Anup admits that his main weakness is that he is a hopeless Excel romantic, yet does not have a Lambda function. When his customers ask Anup what was the formula a month ago, Anup answers, "I have no idea."
Anup, please tell us more about the unicorns.
Yeah, so unicorns, apart from children's stories, it has appeared in the finance language in the last few years, maybe the last 5 years, where people are starting to talk about new businesses that reach high valuations, about $1 billion valuations. Also, I think this case is current in that scenario because when in the last 10 years, finance modeling and finance in general has moved a lot towards small private equity businesses from traditional project finance kind of things. And yeah.
Let's see how did FMWC participants do during the second case of the stage.
In this case, the participants had to model a cap table for a tech startup. Questions 1 to 11 were a somewhat easier part of the case. Answering these questions correctly could bring as much as 280 points to the participants.
We would expect the top performance to answer these questions correctly. Let's see how our leaderboard changed by the time they got to question 11.
Okay, we see that some of the previous leaders are not on the top anymore. Stevenson Yu made 2 mistakes in questions 5 and 6 and is now down to 18th position. Anup Agarwal is the author of the case, so he is not on the leaderboard either. He will be compensated the points for case 2 based on his performance on case 3.
We also see a couple of new people breaking into the top 10.
You're right, Danielle. Most probably they made an occasional mistake in one of the questions for the case 1, but continued with a perfect score so far in case 2.
I believe we'll see a lot of changes after the next 3 questions. Here the participants had to alter the cap table by adding a discount option for Series B investors.
Answering the next 3 questions might require the competitors to spend additional time altering the model. Some of them have decided to skip that part and to save the time for the third case, where they might get a bit more points.
Only 25% of participants were able to provide correct answers to each of the final questions in this case. Here's how the result table looked after case 2 was completed.
So, the field is now led by Diarmuid Early and Joseph Michael Palasok, both having perfect scores. A strong pack of followers is right behind them.
Diarmuid has managed to complete both sections with a perfect score in 55 minutes. Joseph Palasok has a perfect score, but he has spent some 25 minutes more on the cases.
And a lot of strong competitors have successfully completed case 2 with a few mistakes. Some of them were fast, while others were losing a lot of time here. In case 3, the remaining time will become the major factor for success. Everything can still happen today, and let's see how the stage unfolds during the final case for today.
Thank you, Anup, for a great cap table modelling example. Let's now move to New York and ask Diarmuid Early to present his case that was worth as much as 450 points plus 150 extra points for a bonus question.
Meet Diarmuid Early from Early Days Consulting. Dim lives in New York, USA and has more than 13 years of financial modeling experience. He has been quite an active person since college, where he competed in debate championships in the World Quarterfinals. He also does sports and even has finished an Ironman race. Better not joke with this guy.
Hi Dim, great to see you with us today. Headcount analysis seems to be a hot topic for many companies these days, doesn't it?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Yeah, well, it's always important to know who you got working for you. Probably usually not as straightforward as this example with headcount going up every month, but the real world can have its challenges. I think sometimes the challenge with a format like this where you're trying to do something in 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes versus the real world where you're trying to do something over days or trying to do something every month is that it's hard to reward someone for an efficient design if they don't have to keep coming back to it, if they don't have to keep running it every month. And so what I was trying for with this question was to make it just big enough and messy enough that it would be worth it to come up with a clever way to put all the headcount tabs together rather than trying to copy paste them all, but not so big that someone who didn't know how to do it in an efficient way wouldn't be able to do it just by copying and pasting. I think there's definitely many approaches. I think Power Query is, from my perspective, the cleanest way to do this kind of thing, but there's lots of different formula-based approaches, or like I said, you can always, if all else fails, you can always copy and paste.
Okay, now let's see if FMWC participants share your passion for these cases. Let's see how they went.
Case 3 had a total of 10 questions. Some of these were easier, while others required participants to spend more time during the calculations.
You're right. As most of the participants didn't have too much time left, most of them were able to tackle only the first 3 questions that were somewhat easier than the others.
And amazingly, the bonus question, worth 150 points, did not have the lowest rate of correct answers. The case materials clearly stated that if your financial model was good enough to answer questions 1 to 4, it was then possible to tackle the bonus question. And many participants took a wise tactical decision and prioritized it over questions 5 to 9.
To keep the intrigue on the stage winners, we will not show the individual results for case 3.
Let's move on and announce the overall stage results then.
And now let's see who the winners are.
We usually start with the regional rankings and announce the regions in the alphabetical order. So let's start with Africa then.
The regional winner is Jason Weber from South Africa, representing PwC.
Jason Weber again. Wow. He was dominating the regional rankings last season as well. Congratulations, Jason. And I'd like to thank Jason for his great support to FMWC. Thanks to him, the competition in Africa became much stronger this year.
Asia Pacific, a region with one of the most intensive competition rates. Last season, these rankings were dominated by India and Australia. As well, these countries have the highest number of participants. This time, Anup Agarwal from India took over the leading position.
Let's move on to Europe. A lot of strong guys here in Europe as well. And the winner is Willem Gerritsen from the Netherlands.
Tiago Carvalho da Silva from Brazil was dominating the Latin and South American rankings last season. He's a strong contender, but this season, Jelly Hettinger from Costa Rica will be a very strong competitor for him.
And finally, North America was won by Diarmuid Early. Similar to Anup, Diarmuid had less time to solve the cases prepared by the other authors.
In the under 25 age group, a strong performance by Bartłomiej Kuczynski, FMWC newcomer from Poland.
And while Barto dominated the U25 rankings, the competition for places 2 to 5 was very strong. Yanis Reinis Beekmanis from Latvia and Steven Xiao from Canada were tied for the second place, while Karlis Vitis from Latvia and Smith Jane from India shared the 4th place.
Let's finally see the overall stage results. It's fantastic to see several women make it into the top 20. We have Liana Gerish from the US, Alana Reed from Canada, and Romina Badecke from Germany.
And thank you, Danielle, for setting up the group Women in Financial Modeling. I think that's a lot of your contribution as well, that women getting very good representation in the Financial Modeling World Cup. And wow, there was a strong and quite equal performance among the players ranked 5 to 10. Liana Gerish and Jason Sindler both representing the United States, were tied for the 9th place.
In fact, Jason Weber from South Africa was as little as 5 points in front of them. What a tight competition it was. Within the next 100 points, we also find Michael Jarman from Canada, Julius Vocher from the UK, and Bartholomew Kempinski from Poland.
As you see, Bartha ranked 5th in the overall rankings, being just 15 points short from getting the time bonus for an early finish. FMWC participants need to score at least 900 points to be able to claim the time bonus, 10 points for every full minute stayed.
Moving on, Anup Agarwal ranked 4th, while Diarmuid Early was just in front of him on 3rd.
So, only 2 spots left on the top of the rankings. Danielle, any ideas on who will be the winner?
It'll definitely be one of the regional rank leaders, right?
Yes, you can't win the world without being a regional champion too. But what's interesting is that this time, the runner-up for the stage is not a regional champion. Congratulations to Andrew and Guy from the UK on the 2nd place.
And the winner of the stage winner is Willem Gerritsen from the Netherlands. Congratulations, Willem.
We have Willem here with us online. Willem, please share your impressions about the stage. How did he manage to do so well?
Wow, it was a difficult stage, I must say. The questions were really good. Not all in my field of expertise, but it was definitely challenging, and I did quite well, so I was very happy about stage 1, definitely. I started with stage 3, with question 3, because there was a kind of an alluring bonus marks there. So I thought, let's first see how that goes, and so I finished stage 3. Then I went to the warm-up, which was the warm-up, but I just did it second, and then finally I switched to the second question, which was quite hard for me, I must say. I like the out-of-the-box thinking that you had to do for question 3, trying to reconciliate all the tabs into one tab. It's something that could potentially take a lot of time. And what I also liked was stage 2, because it was about stacking a unicorn, trying for a company who tried to get a lot of funding, and it was something I had never seen before. So I learned actually a lot by doing question 2. So thanks, Anup. I must say I was a participant at Modeloff, and Modeloff doesn't exist anymore, so I'm really glad that FMWC entered that gap and started doing modeling competitions. And I think it's a huge source of learning as well for modelers, because working through the answers really could help everyone becoming a better financial modeler. So thumbs up, guys.
Great to see the individual rankings, but do we have some teams signed up for the competition?
Yes, and that's a new addition to our format. In season 2021, we will count the rankings of the 3 top performers towards corporate rankings. And let's see who the strongest teams are.
The Big Four typically have the largest squads at FMWC just due to the size of their head count. But this time they were seriously challenged by Capital One, led by Gabriel Kahn and John Michael Palisok. Team Capital One ranked 3rd in the team ranking.
And PwC, led by Jason Weber from South Africa, ranked 2nd in the team rankings. Last year, PwC would have won the team rankings if we have introduced these rankings. But this time, they face a huge challenge from Operis, led by Michael Jarman.
You're right, Operis placed a very strong modelling team for the competition this year. PwC and other teams would have a very difficult time catching them. Congratulations again to all of the winners. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
See you.